1972 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. And this is going to be a full, in-depth tour of the Corvette. We'll start up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip and go over the performance data, and show you a bunch of the features on the interior as well as exterior. Without further ado, with black vinyl interior. Beautiful. Fires right up. This 72 Stingray was basically equipped with most of the options available from the factory back in the day, including power assisted steering, optional 3-speed automatic transmission, as well as air conditioning and other factory amenities. So let's go ahead and cut on the headlamps. Does have manual windows. And let's go and check out the exterior, shall we? My theft alarm that started to become available in 72, activated by this little lock mechanism here. The integrated roof lines blended into the deck lid with your window and sharp angled housing. Factory option cover that goes around the edge of the gas tank to prevent your gas tank nozzle from chipping the edge of the paint. And we're going to pop the hood. This particular Corvette came with the base, more modest version of the 350 cubic inch 5.7 liter ZQ3 V8. And also through the years, due to emission regulation and differences in calculating the SAE horsepower ratings, initially, or back in the day, the horsepower ratings were rated as a gross horsepower rating. That basically takes the engine out of the vehicle without any accessories attached to it and basically testing it on that scale. So horsepower ratings were oftentimes overrated than what the engine actually produced, hooked up to the vehicle with all of the extra accessories, power accessories, air conditioning, etc. So in 1972 they switched it over to the SAE net horsepower rating. This basically resulted in a decrease in horsepower ratings in pretty much all vehicles across the board, even though nothing mechanically changed in them. Produces 200 brake horsepower at 4,400 RPM and 300 foot-pounds of torque at 2,800 RPM. Now, based on what I just said, GM actually rated this car and is actually signed on a plate mounted in the center console that the vehicle was factory rated at around 360 foot-pounds of torque. So you can kind of see the difference in horsepower rating what I was talking about earlier. It is 16 valve with 2 valves per cylinder, fed through a Rochester 4-barrel quadrajet model carburetor. Compression was rated 8.5 to 1. The original compressor for the Frigidaire air conditioning system. Beautiful engine bay. As far as some more specifics on the suspension, it is front independent as well as independent rear, with unequal A-arms, coil springs, tubular shocks, and a stabilizer bar up front, and in the rear you have trailing arms, toe links, a transverse chromium carbon steel leaf spring, tube shocks, and an anti-roll bar. Beautifully laid out interior, plenty of padded trim, and stitching going across the tops of the door panels, aluminum accentage. Your lock and unlock's located here, polished aluminum door sills, with your vinyl rat and bucket seating, and deluxe seat belts, pulling out and clipping in over there. Release the seat by grabbing the back of the handle located up there, to a modest cargo parcel shelf in the back. It's also illuminated. Battery located in the back, a set of shoulder belts, standard AM/FM radio, handbrake, and the gauge pack in the middle consisting of your fuel, water temperature, oil temperature, clock, and battery meter. The dash is also completely padded, with the stitch trim going across. Controls for your wiper and washer fluid up top. So let's go and shut her down. Check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we?
Powering this Corvette is a hybrid between the L48 and L82 engines. The block actually changed color from orange to blue sometime in the middle of this production run in 1977. And this one's been modified, so it's definitely more than an L82 in here with the Edelbrock heads and some other modifications that were made to the engine. It produces 210 horsepower at 5,200 RPMs and 255 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPMs. 0 to 60 is said to be just under 7 seconds, and it prefers at least 91 octane. Fuel economy, are you kidding me? Fuel economy? It's more like gallons to mile in this car. I'd say you'd be lucky to get about 15 miles per gallon if you're going long distance on the highway and not driving very fast at all. Otherwise, good luck. It's the sounds. It's the forward vision looking out over those wheel arches. Definitely an iconic shape. I love it. I talk about on many Infinities I review how they've kind of echoed this a little bit, but sports cars that are great often have very memorable forward vision view from the driver's seat. And Porsche 911 is one I talk about. Check out my reviews of those, Infinities, and basically all sports cars. Just Google any car you like and drive an Ivan and you'll find my reviews. Yeah, this is what it's all about. Open air and big American V8 in front of you and throttle oversteer. That's what the Corvette's all about. This is a great car. Took a while to ship here, and the anticipation, there's some issues with paint, little run-ins here and there. The windows aren't too quick to go up and down. Steering's a little off of center, things like that. But overall, I'm very happy with this C3 Corvette. It is my first Corvette that I've ever owned, and it is everything I'd hoped it would be. I could just stare at it. It's just the shape. I love it. So, what's it like to drive it? '90s. It's a totally different driving experience. You got those cool pop-up headlights, and yes, it's
exceptions to every rule, but the number one rule is when the top goes down, the price goes up. You add a 4 speed to that,